Welcome to a Between Bites Piecemeal episode. Piecemeal is a podcast hosted by the Emily program, and Between Bites are short episodes addressing topics you want to know more about. Piecemeal covers topics related to eating disorders, body image, and how society may influence our thinking. Please use your discretion and reach out for support as needed. I'm your host, Jillian Lampert, and for Between Bites, you get just me. Welcome. Today's topic is all about nutrition. So, March is National Nutrition Month. So we thought it would be a good time to talk a bit about nutrition myths that diet culture perpetuate, and the role of nutrition in eating disorder recovery. So let's dive in. National Nutrition Month. What is that? National Nutrition Month is an annual March campaign created by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is the professional group for dietitians, and it was created to promote informed food choices, sustainable eating, and physical activity habits. The 2026 theme, there's a theme every year, the 2026 theme is Discover the Power of Nutrition. I kind of like this theme because in eating disorders, treatment, and recovery, we know a lot about the power of nutrition. Nutrition rehabilitation is the bedrock of recovery from any eating disorder, no matter the type of eating disorder. It's an essential part of the recovery journey, and it's often one of the hardest parts of recovery. I often will say to people that eating disorders aren't really about food, but they sure are about food when food shows up. And so that's part of why nutrition is so important. And if we back up a few steps, why is nutrition so important generally? Why do we have National Nutrition Month? Why is there so much nutrition information out there? Nutrition is key to survival. Our bodies need strong, sustained, and reliable nutrition to thrive. And particularly, we need that strong, sustained, and reliable nutrition when the eating disorder tries to convince someone otherwise. And eating disorders are really good at trying to convince someone otherwise that nutrition isn't as important, or that food isn't as important, or that their body is somehow different and doesn't need the same sustained, strong, reliable nutrition as other people do. And that's not true. Everybody needs strong, sustained, reliable nutrition. Eating disorder recovery can be difficult, can be uncomfortable. I know that food can be some of the hardest parts of eating disorder recovery. The eating different things, going through nutritional rehabilitation, harnessing nutritional chaos to be more sustainable and reliable and predictable can be really difficult. Eating things that are overwhelming and scary can be very hard. Eating regularly and in a predictable way is important because it reassures our bodies in a way that helps it to be less terrifying for our brains. And I know that eating regularly and in a predictable way can feel really overwhelming to the brain if you're in the middle of an eating disorder. But that's precisely why eating disorder recovery requires support from a nutrition perspective, as well as support from loved ones and from other professionals. So, why is that? Why is it so hard? Part of why nutritional rehabilitation can be so difficult in eating disorder recovery is that we're surrounded by myths relating to diet culture. Myths like you have to eat only certain foods to be healthy, or that some foods are quote unquote good and some foods are quote unquote bad. The underlying message in that good bad dynamic is a sort of morality message that infers that you are a better person for eating the quote unquote good foods and a less respectable, lovable person for eating the quote unquote bad foods. That's just not true. There's so much hype about the right things to eat and the right supplements to take to have health and youth and attractiveness and strength, you name it. There's a nutritional promise for all of it. The problem is that diet culture, these myths of having to eat certain ways, or that you're a better person if you eat certain foods and you're a worse person if you eat other foods. The problem is diet culture sells us these messages not because they support our health, but because they support a culture that keeps us feeling bad about ourselves, which is a culture that reaches for quick fixes, for potions, for supplements, and for external validation of our worth as a human. You are worthy as a human, no matter what you eat. You don't need to eat a certain way to deserve respect, to deserve love or acceptance. And so every time you reject diet culture in large ways or small ways, you are accepting yourself. And that is a beautiful thing. Sure, nutritious foods are great. Eating nutritious foods can fuel you, can support your health, and foods that you enjoy really support your health and your nourishment as a human. So we want nutrition to be fuel, of course, and connection to place, to nature, to culture, to people, to ourselves. Surrounding yourself as much as you can with messages that support your recovery goals and not the goals of diet culture, that is part of the important work to be done on the road to recovery. And it's really okay to need help to do that. Which brings me to sort of my last point this National Nutrition Month. If you're struggling with eating disorder behaviors or you know somebody who is, ask for help or work with them to ask for help or ask for help for them if you can or with them if you can. And particularly in seeking that health, find a dietitian in that's trained in eating disorders. When you're looking for that help, make sure there's a dietitian in that mix. Dietitians who work with people with eating disorders, we're kind of a different kind of dietitian. I've been an eating disorder dietitian for 3 decades. We're kind of different than some of the other dietitians out there. We can really help align with your therapy goals. We are really well trained in mental health. Most dietitians aren't. We are well trained. If we're eating disorder dietitians, we're really well trained in eating disorder interventions. We know how to streamline and kind of come alongside your therapy work to really help you feel in a way that can help you get through the hard parts of recovery, as well as we can work with your team to help you get through the hard parts of recovery related to food. We're the experts in food and fueling and nutrients and all the details related to nutrition. We're also experts in how to help you to be able to get that food into your life, into your body, into your brain, into your cells to really help you feel joy in your life and fuel the stuff that you want to do. It's not easy to retrain or learn for the first time what kinds of foods and nutritional strategies work for you. It might take a lot of experimenting with your dietitian, but it's good work to do, and it will help you get where you want to go. I've had more people dislike working with their eating disorder dietitian, including working with me, because of what the dietitian has asked them to do, only to say a few months or years down the line that their dietitian was one of the key factors in their recovery. I've had more people come and tell me that they really didn't like working with me or another dietitian. In the beginning, we were super scary. It was really overwhelming to work with us. And some days, months, years down the road, they found it one of the most important things that they did and found it one of the really valuable experiences they had in eating disorder treatment and in recovery. So I know it's really hard work. I know eating disorders, both from a personal and a professional perspective, I know it's really hard work, but it's worth it. An eating disorder dietitian can be a critical element in helping you get there. And if you've worked with a dietitian before and it really helped you in your recovery, I would really encourage you to take a minute to let them know. Hearing from you, I guarantee will make their day. So to wrap up, I want to do a shout out to all the eating disorder dietitians and other dietitians everywhere this National Nutrition Month. This is a wonderful group of folks. Dietitians are cool people working to help others experience better health, more joy, more connection to life and to others, particularly working with clients with eating disorders and seeing people make progress in recovery or overcome an eating disorder is certainly one of the great joys of my work, of my life, and my career. And I know it is for other people. So if you are thinking about a career in nutrition, or maybe you already have one, but you're thinking about a change in an area of specialty, think about working with people with eating disorders. It's a great, incredibly rewarding area of healthcare. People with eating disorders are amazing, awesome folks. And being able to be part of someone's life-changing story is an experience that's really unforgettable. So happy National Nutrition Month. Remember to think about the ways that diet culture is trying to seep into your life and ways that you can push back, ways that you can ask for support to push back, ways that you can engage in eating disorder recovery and add a dietitian to your team if you don't already have one. So please remember, reach out for help. If you know someone who might have an eating disorder or you might have an eating disorder, reach out for help. It is worth it. And if you have a topic you'd like to see discussed on Between Bites, drop us a line and let us know. If you enjoyed today's episode of Piecemeal, please subscribe, rate, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Learn more about us at emilyprogram.com or find the Emily Program on social media. Piecemeal is produced by the amazing podcast team at the Emily Program. Until next time, take care. Thanks for listening.